America has always carried debt. But today, the situation is becoming more serious than ever before. The U.S. national debt has reached levels that would have seemed impossible just a few decades ago. Every year, the government spends more money than it collects in taxes. To make up the difference, it borrows. And that debt keeps growing. For many years, this wasn't a major concern. Interest rates were low. Borrowing money was cheap. And the economy continued expanding. But now, things are changing. Interest rates have risen dramatically. That means the government must pay much more interest on its existing debt. In fact, America is now spending hundreds of billions of dollars every year just to pay interest. Not schools. Not roads. Not healthcare. Just interest. And that number continues to rise. Many economists believe this is one of the biggest long-term threats facing the U.S. economy. The problem becomes even more concerning when we look at future spending. America's population is aging. More people are retiring. Programs like Social Security and Medicare require enormous amounts of funding. At the same time, political leaders continue spending money to stimulate growth, support industries, and respond to economic challenges. As a result, deficits continue growing. And every new deficit adds more debt. Some experts compare it to a household continuously using credit cards without paying off the balance. Eventually, the interest payments become so large that they consume more and more income. The same principle applies to governments. The more debt America accumulates, the less flexibility it has during future crises. If another recession occurs, the government may have fewer options available. That also affects investors. Some worry that excessive government borrowing could eventually slow economic growth. Others fear that future taxes may need to increase. And some believe inflation could remain a long-term challenge if debt continues rising unchecked. However, not everyone believes a crisis is imminent. The United States still has the world's largest economy. The US dollar remains the global reserve currency. And investors around the world continue buying US government bonds. These factors give America advantages that many countries do not have. But even with those advantages, debt cannot grow forever without consequences. History has shown that financial problems often build slowly for years before becoming impossible to ignore. That's why more economists, investors, and policymakers are paying attention to America's growing debt burden. The real question isn't whether the debt is large. Everyone already knows that. The real question is whether America can control the problem before it begins affecting economic growth, government spending, and future generations. Because if debt continues growing faster than the economy itself, the cost may eventually be paid by everyone. And that's why America's debt problem is becoming one of the most important economic stories of our time.